the antitrust trial, NASCAR versus 2311 Front Row Motorsports, or as we could put it, NASCAR versus Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. You were in court Monday. You sat in on the first day of this trial. What's the atmosphere like in there?
Definitely a different atmosphere from what I'm used to seeing these high-profile figures around. Michael Jordan is obviously a team owner in the Cup Series. He's at a handful of races a year, and usually pretty accommodating to fans, pretty talkative. Same with Denny Hamlin, same with most of the NASCAR executives, but definitely the opposite mood, a lot more somber, more muted from all parties involved leading into and during the trial.
So let's break down the basics of this lawsuit. 2311 Racing, owned by Michael Jordan, owned by Denny Hamlin, they're co-owners, and Front Row Motorsports, owned by businessman Bob Jenkins. They brought the antitrust lawsuit, the federal antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR, accusing them of monopolistic practices. What do these race teams want out of this lawsuit?
So there are four pillars that their argument is based off of. They want permanent charters, which I'm sure we'll touch on in a little bit. They want higher prize money payments, an additional $20 million per car each year to cover team operating expenses, and then they want a voice in the sport's governance moving forward.
Obviously, antitrust is a big word, a bad word in the federal regulations that cover the way businesses operate. Why do they say NASCAR is a monopoly? The court has since proven that NASCAR is a monopoly in the narrow scope of a premier stock car racing series in America. They are the only premier division of stock car racing, the NASCAR Cup Series. There's no other competing series like you may have with the NFL and the UFL or XFL, what have you. So through that very narrow lens, NASCAR is a monopoly, and the court has since proved that. In addition to that, the teams are trying to prove that NASCAR took anti-competitive practices to limit how much they're paid and how much power they have to dictate the ins and outs of racing at the highest level. To kick it all off Monday, Denny Hamlin was the first witness who took the stand. Did you see anything out of Denny on the stand that surprised you? What was that like?
Absolutely. So to start off, Denny was pretty joking, just trying to set a good first impression with the jurors who may or may not follow racing, may not know Denny Hamlin from Adam. Obviously, you and I have a pretty good reference of who he is. A lot of our viewers may as well, but for these 9 jurors, they have no idea who Denny is. They may not follow racing at all. So I thought it was funny how when he was asked, did you graduate high school, he said, they gave me a diploma. A couple people laughed at that, including Michael Jordan. But he quickly transitioned into being really honest, really forthcoming, really emotional when bringing up his background in racing, how he got first started in the sport, and his dad. Obviously, his dad may be terminally ill right now, so he shed a few tears when mentioning his father.